Good morning, friends, and welcome to this 10 days of training program on EIA, a requirement beyond clearance. As you know that Center for Science and Environment is a research and advocacy organization. We believe EIA is an important tool to have balance between development and environment. And that's why good EIA is the need of the hour. But if you go through various websites, I will say, please go through the website of Down to Earth magazine. Just type EIA. You will find hundreds of stories on how poor EIA have affected the overall project. It had many negative impacts. These could have been avoided if a special focus has been given to preparing a good EIA. During this next 10 days, we are going to spend time on understanding various processes and protocol to ensure the consultant or person who is preparing the EIA comes out with the EIA which has minimum error or no error. And this is what Center for Science and Environment want. We want a cadre of people who understand the soul of conducting environment impact assessment. Who knows the objective of conducting environment impact assessment? There are various ways of starting a training program. And here we want to start in a little negative fashion. What if you prepare a poor EIA? And that will enable us to think why a good EIA is a need of the hour. The topic of my presentation is consequences of poor EIA. I am Nivit Kumar Yadav, Program Director, Sustainable and Industrialization Team of Center for Science and Environment. My colleague Isita have asked me not to spend too much on this slide. Reason is very simple. Our experts are going to talk on this aspect in detail. However, I want to just discuss few key points. EIA is a tool to assess the environment, social and economic impact of a project and measures to mitigate the damage as much as possible. EIA is a tool to assess the impact. Impact could be positive or negative. The purpose of EIA is to identify the impact and suggest measure which can minimize the negative impact of the project. It is a tool to help build a balance between environment and development. And this is called sustainable industrialization. Nobody is against development. Even Center for Science and Environment also want development. But important thing is development should not come at the cost of environment. Every year during the winter time, the newspaper across the country are filled with air pollution issue in Delhi NCR. One of the reason is we did not plan properly. We did not assess the impact of various development activities both in Delhi and in the NCR. And reason is a problem which is there for last 3 decades. This could have been avoided if a proper assessment had been done. How Delhi NCR has to be expanded. However, since it was not done, we are facing the problem. And this is called unsustainable growth. And need of the hour is we want to avoid such activity, such projects which are unsustainable in nature. Advantages of EIA, as I have discussed, In my first slide, it identifies impact and suggests mitigative measures. If you go to countries like Sweden, they have come to a level where when a project comes, they ask for best available technology available across the globe. So if any industry has to come in Sweden, they have to adopt the best available technology available anywhere. It helps to build confidence with the local community. Can I live in an environment where I have fight with all my neighbors? Answer is no. I need a peaceful existence. And that is also the case with a project. Project needs a peaceful existence with the local stakeholder. This will only possible if their concern have been addressed in the EIA. And good environment management plan can prevent from non-compliance. It means you will also have good relationship with environment regulatory authority. Now comes what if EIA study is not done properly. I will go through two case studies. They are not in detail. If you type the name of the case study on Down to Earth website, you will find all the history. But I will go through it quickly just to share what has happened, and then I will come to the conclusion. The first case study is about Nirma Cement Plant of Nirma Limited. Government of Gujarat allotted something around 270 hectares of land to Nirma Limited to come up with a cement plant with an annual capacity of 1.91 million ton per annum. The project also has a captive power plant of capacity 50 megawatt and a coke oven plant. In December 2008, the land was allotted in, the concept came in 2007, the land was allotted in January 2008, and by December 2008, it means less than a year, the project got environment clearance on the basis of rapid environment impact assessment, and which has describes the project site as wasteland. Local residents were strongly opposing to the project because they said it was built over their water body, the Samadilya Bhandara, created by damming a local river. Now, this was not mentioned in the EIA. And they have raised this issue in the public hearing conducted in September 2008. However, it was ignored and the project got clearance in December 2008. But the people, the project affected community did not sat behind. They approached Gujarat High Court. Many committees were found. Many committees were formed, and one of the ministerial subcommittee recommended allowing the project, directing Nirma to return 54 acres of acquired land. Reason? They want to increase the reservoir capacity to offset water loss. You will get all the detail on the Down to Earth website. Just type Nirma Cement. High Court stays the construction after petitioner submits satellite image of wetland. But within a month, it asks Nirma to surrender additional 48 hectares. Now the High Court have asked something around to return 100 hectares of land to protect the wetland. However, people did not agree. They said Nirma has already constructed the boundary. They are coming out with the development and it will hamper the flow of water to the wetland. So this initiative of returning 100 acres of land will not have any impact. It will destroy the wetland. However, nobody listened to them. And what happened at the end? They approached the Supreme Court. Supreme Court asked Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change to respond. MOEFCC asked for some time and they set up a expert committee under C.K. Vasne to inspect the site. Mr. Vasne submitted a report asking ministry to stop the work. Nirma again moved the court, which turned down its appeal against the ministry order. Following Supreme Court order, ministry again formed a committee under C.R. Babu. C.R. Babu committee also asked for relocation of the plant as it is going to come on a wetland. Ministry issued a show cause notice to Nirma. In September 2011, Supreme Court asked Nirma to prove the project site is a wasteland. Please. 2011, Ministry scrapped environmental clearance granted to the cement plant. SC dismisses the petition after Nirma submit that it will appeal against ministry order in the National Green Tribunal. Nirma case moved to the NGT. NGT directed two expert members of the tribunal to do a fresh site visit. In January 2015, NGT delivers judgment in favor of the company. And one of the reasons given by the NGT was the wetland told by the petitioner is not there in the record. Now the role of EIA in the case. The EIA report was silent on the presence of reservoir as well as the river Sansuri. Only in a table on land use pattern based on satellite image, the EIA said that 27% of the study area is a water body. EIA was conducted in the dry month between March and May, which could be an attempt to hide the presence of water body. They got the land in January. Data was collected in March and May, and it was submitted in July. See how they will find there is water in the wetland when everything was done during the month of summer. Now let's come to the second case study. I will just take 1 minute. Case study is Nagarjuna thermal power plant by Nagarjuna Construction Company. It's a famous project and many of you must be knowing about it. NCC proposed to build a 2,640 megawatt of coal-fired power plant on a 770 hectare of wetland in Sonpeta town in Andhra Pradesh. This project also started at the same time. In 2008, the company got land. In 2008 itself, they approached ministry to clear their terms of reference. However, ministry objected to their terms of reference, saying it is on a wetland and please go and get a new land. NCC resubmitted the application with the revised land. They just reduced something around 4 hectares, gave away some part and purchased some other plant and submitted again to the ministry. A site visit was conducted by expert appraisal committee. The TOR was issued with a recommendation to leave aside around half of the land they have asked for. A public hearing was conducted where more than 90% of the people who attended opposed the project, but authorities ignored this and informed that public supported the project. See how bureaucracy have worked. In 2009, the project affected people formed a group called Paryavaran Parirachna Sangam to protest against the plant. Agitation started, they sat on hunger strike. And in the meantime, the ministry granted environment clearance to the plant. In 2010, the project affected people approached the Andhra Pradesh High Court, and there it was revealed that through special chief secretary and chief commissioner of land that the land was a swamp, but it was used by fishermen who fish there for their livelihood only for some time. And this was not good enough for any other activity, and that's why it was allotted for a thermal power plant. The protester did not give up. In one of the Green India Mission meeting in 2010, they demonstrated in front of the minister, and the minister asked for a report. In July 2010, while NCC started the construction of the project, something sad happened. People protested and agitated. Police fired on agitating crowd. Two people were killed on the spot and another one died later in hospital. It was a very famous, you will say, very sad moment when you talk about environment governance in this country. Because of firing, the National Environment Appellate Authority suspended the environment clearance and ordered the state to not to allocate such land. A committee was formed by the MOEF to understand the importance of this water body. Even CAG also criticized the Andhra government for allotting the wetland to developer. The National Green Tribunal kept the environment clearance in suspension. People were there in the hunger strike, and in August 25, 2015, the state government cancelled the land allotted to the project. And there the story finished. Again, the role of EIA in this case. The EIA report showed that the site as wasteland, whereas it was a fertile wetland against which the people protested. The EIA report has also used old baseline monitoring data in an attempt to hide the ground realities. We, we have discussed two case studies started at the same time, finished at the same time. They both started around 2008, finished in 2015. Nirma got the clearance, but Sonpeta thermal power plant did not get. Even CSE believe Nirma plant should also not have got the environmental clearance. Whatever reason is there, if it is not there on the record, it is wetland, it is not the problem of the local people, it's the government problem. It is their lethargy work which has caused a big plant unit to come on a wetland, which is not acceptable. Now, what has happened? What are the consequences of this poor EIA? Decline in companies' reputation, both in domestic and international market. Center for Science and Environment also does a environmental rating of industries based upon a large number of environmental parameters. When we have released this rating, the stock market of poor companies have gone down. People give emphasis to the environmental performance, and especially in international market, it is taken very seriously. Second, what a poor EIA? It is a loss of time. It leads to increase in project cost. It is not a win-win situation. It's a loss situation to everyone, to project proponent, to the local people, to the consultant, as well as to the regulatory authority. Loss of local stakeholder trust. And this is very sad. A big industry is coming in my area and I am not happy. It is a very sad scenario. And we need to make sure this does not happen. Question on integrity of expert appraisal committee. In both the cases, expert committee gave no to the project, but in some other project where such projects are cleared by expert appraisal committee without doing any site visit, only on the basis of presentation by project proponent, terms of reference or environmental clearance are given. This is not a good system. We need a good clearance mechanism in the country. The expert appraisal committee has to be responsible for the decision they have taken. Good EIA, a win-win situation for everyone. EIA is not a copy-paste job, but requires understanding of local, environmental, and social condition based upon primary and secondary data. It requires going to the ground and collecting data. It requires writing to different agencies and collecting secondary data. Intensive survey area related to different environment area. Many people ask how CSE gets so many stories idea. How you get idea for your down to earth magazine? Answer is very simple. Our reporter, our researcher are always on ground. They spend more than 50% of their time traveling to different part of the country and trying to understand the ground realities. So that's why when it comes to consultant, you have to go and understand the area, meet people, visit the site, spend time. Development of air and water quality monitoring network. This is very, when you visit the area, then you will understand how monitoring network has to be created. And I believe one of our experts is going to take detailed lecture on the same, as well as there is class exercise. Deliberate impact assessment and mitigation measure. That is why EIA is there. Deliberate impact assessment and mitigation measure. And when this happens, you get a good environment management plan, which ensures compliance not only now, but for next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years. And that's why I say a good EIA is the need of the hour. A good EIA should be asked by project proponent, should be prepared by consultant, because in future, when a consultant prepares a poor EIA, they are going to be blacklisted. Also, a ministry has to ensure they have done a good ground survey before granting environmental clearance. With this, I will stop here, and I just want to say thank you very much for joining this 10 days of training program. And I hope you will enjoy the coming 10 days with CSE faculty and experts from outside CSE. In case of any query, difficulties, please contact my colleague Isita. She is going to be with you for next 10 days. Thank you very much. And if in case there is any question, please get back to me. Thank you.